you hear us?
Hello, everyone. I'm off topic in this session, but I think
very quietly, but I don't know how to.
Oh,
You turn up the
can't.
sound?
Can you hear me better now?
No,
Yes.
sound-
You're very quiet.
I think we need to turn
Very
it down.
quiet. So what can I do? I
Turn it
can
down,
check.
hopefully back over.
I can check my audio.
Speaking,
Okay.
but I can hear it very, very quietly. You sure we can't turn it up here? There's no volume adjustment?
Can you turn up the volume at your end?
Tell me if it is better now.
This is coming out of the laptop.
Tell me if it's better now.
Thanks. Can we turn up the volume on the laptop?
Is it okay? Is it okay now?
I'm just trying to get your volume turned up.
So
Can you hear me better?
Slightly better. You can keep it increasing.
Okay, I will try to shout more.
No, that's too quiet still.
That's still too quiet.
it's
Our end, because it's online, is
No,
okay.
hold the mic. Where's the speaker?
Don't know what to do.
Oh, somewhere else. I don't know.
Perfect, yes.
try holding it to the
Where?
laptop.
To the laptop, but it's not coming out.
No,
of the
no, it's
laptop.
not coming from the laptop.
It's from my laptop.
So can't we get it to come out of the laptop?
Well,
Any speaker.
Oh. Don't know what to do. Is that better? I'm trying with different,
Still too quiet.
We can
still like
restart.
that. Okay, don't know how to.
Try using that. Take this out.
I can just try. No, it's not working this way. Can try to connect this one. Let me try with this one.
It's on her end.
Have we had any of my speakers before?
No, yesterday was working.
So probably the problems on your side.
yeah.
Tell me if it's going.
Just hold up my.
That was working, but I knew it did. Try that again.
Doesn't help because it's feedback here.
Okay, that was working with your mic that you just used. Can you speak again? It was working, whatever you were doing was working, so you could use the mic again.
I think it was because it was coming out of this. I'm on the Zoom here,
Okay.
but there's feedback if I turn it up.
So it's coming from you.
Yes.
She was present with the mic.
I don't know if you hear me better. This is the better I can do, the best I can do.
Like,
Let me try with another device. I'm coming back, interrupting the share, and let me try with.
Well, you'll put that on. Yeah.
Can you speak again?
Try now.
Yeah, we got you now. We got you now.
Okay, so it's fine. Inconvenience, real-time inconvenience.
That's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
You've got time, so you've got 20 minutes.
Okay, I will be in time. So anyway, my talk, as you know, will be on non-fungible tokens and specifically about the possibility that they could be a new business model in the music market. But maybe it is of some interest also for VR, I hope so. Our motivation for considering NFTs in the music market stems from the consideration that, in general, the sector is difficult and that musicians often receive very little return for their work due to the many intermediaries. Particularly, the market is difficult for composers of music for films, TV shows, videos, and games. Indeed, the music market is in this case particularly complex and competitive. Revenues are low, and it is difficult to achieve a recognized reputation, allowing to be chosen to score a film, a TV show, or a game without pitching. We therefore wondered whether in this scenario NFTs could actually represent a sustainable business model despite the commercial failure of bottom-up projects such as Napster or MySpace in the past. The context is well known. Music composers' engagement take place via publishers who should manage catalogs, promote artists and their careers, develop the market and their reputation. In reality, this does not always happen in a linear fashion because the competition is such that sometimes it is the artist himself who has to find a way to promote his career. Despite this, the usual royalty distribution scheme consists of splitting incomes between authors and publishers, and authors receive very little. Undoubtedly, the digital market represents a new opportunity. Many musicians, more than composers, are exploring other sources of incomes, such as new distribution media like Patreon and Twitch, to name a few. What seems a pro in considering NFTs is that they are targeted to direct users, amateurs, fans, and also to a larger number of publishers that in this case could be interesting. Moreover, despite the blockchain is still controversial, and we will see why, potentially it allows to uniquely verify authorship, authenticity, rights, royalties, and their duration. Okay, you all know more or less how NFTs work, but shortly, within the process, the blockchain purpose is to verify and track the state of the NFTs at any stage of users' interactions, placing them on the market, selling, buying, reselling. All the details related to an NFT are stored in the smart contract. To operate in the NFT market, users need a digital wallet for the cryptocurrencies used in trading. NFTs have to be in limited editions, not replicable in time. They have to be placed in a marketplace. One of the most famous is OpenSea. Owners need a wallet in cryptocurrency, such as Coinbase or MetaMask. And NFTs can be sold at a fixed price or through an auction. In any case, an initial fee is required to place the NFTs on the market. The most used blockchain is Ethereum, but there are several other options. Actually, there are also some gas-free alternatives like Polygon based on the Matic currency. So what the potential benefit might be in adopting NFTs in the music market? First of all, the fact that NFTs enable the ownership and trading of digital assets where the blockchain allows to verify author, authenticity, associated royalties, and their duration. This way, piracy, which largely affects the music market, would be almost impossible to perpetrate. Also, the approach to the market could be easier. For example, the simplest approach in NFTs consists in transferring ownership of compositions via NFT, keeping the royalties as the author of the music. From the fanbase point of view, the possibility to acquire NFTs related to a limited collection of music gives them, on one hand, the opportunity to support the careers of their favorite artists, and on the other hand, the possibility to earn from their success. That is something interesting for fanbase. An interesting case study is related to Clowncore, a duo of session men who created an irreverent industrial project consisting in 4 songs minted as an NFT collection sold on OpenSpace. Despite a very limited fan base of only 180,000 subscriptions on YouTube, that is very low on this platform, they could sell their collection for around 6,000 euros, which is a lot. We also decided to test NFTs in the music composition market. That is, as I told you before, particularly difficult. Thanks to Bob and Barn, a music composition company of 2 artists who write music for films, TV shows, video games, we placed some tracks on OpenSea. The tracks are inspired by the video game Medieval, because Bob and Barn are very well known since they wrote the music for all the editions of Medieval. Then, compared to other composers, they have a small fan base, around 20,000 followers, and for this reason, they were suitable for the experiment. On OpenSea, there are currently 2 tracks and 4 stems. They are still on OpenSea because the test is not yet finished, but we already have some consideration to share. First of all, we had a very good reaction for the experiment from musicians, but gamers showed a different attitude. They are indeed suspicious on NFTs, mainly because the video game industry already tried to make them paying practically for everything, and they fear that NFTs could be used to monetize every aspect of a video game. We think we will talk more about this in the presentation anyway, but it's an interesting point. In our research on possible platforms for NFTs, we could see that there are several marketplaces already used by many musicians. Marketplaces for single edition music NFTs are Catalog, Foundation, Arpeggi, Form Function. There are also platforms for different music genres, such as Grove Time for dance music or Beat Foundry for generative music. There are also some decentralized autonomous organization, so-called DAO. There is crypto-based investment co-ops, like music funds collecting membership via NFTs, where holders vote each month to donate Ethereums to 3 musicians through the community fund. Another is Noise DAO, that is an incubator of NFTs artists. So what about the royalties? Well, unless specified differently, music NFTs give buyers no royalty or copyright claims. This is true also for JPEG NFTs by default. Anyway, there are different opportunities. The platform Royal, for example, allows sharing the revenue from streaming with fans who hold NFTs. Opulus and other platforms allows token holders to retain a share in the music copyright, of course, if there is an agreement with the author, with the artist. Also, decentralized finance loans can be taken out by artists against the value of royalties they generate over a year. Well, NFTs show several pros, but of course there are also criticisms. We have already seen that gamers don't like the concept at all. They are skeptical in general, mainly because game companies already monetize practically everything in a game. But they mainly justify their opposition to NFTs, claiming that NFTs are mainly used for fraud. As with any technology, of course, this may be true. But in principle, blockchain guarantees or should guarantee trust, so it is difficult to be against NFTs on principle. For example, NFTs in their case could be used also to prove the subscription to a game, avoiding, as happens, that their identity is stolen to access the game. Other criticisms are related to the impact on the environment, that is, the energy consumption associated with NFTs, minting process, and the blockchain-based trading operations. Another problem is related to the fluctuation in cryptocurrency that doesn't help current exchange market. These days, it is very expensive to put an NFTs on the market. In general, NFTs work fine for bands, singers, musicians, but they are mostly unknown by composers in the film, TV shows, and documentary market. So this is a market that possibly deserves to be explored. Concluding, there are several potential use cases for music NFTs, such as tracks delivering, but also giving access to concert tickets and many others opportunities. Minting and selling NFTs hides pitfalls that need the attention of professionals. So especially for the fluctuation of cryptocurrency, it's better to rely on someone who is expert in the blockchain or crypto and NFTs. In general, another point is that a large fan base is preferable because it's not easy to advertise the NFTs because there are many on a marketplace. Last but not least, due to criticisms about NFTs sustainability, some communities such as gamers showed prejudice and lack of knowledge of the big picture. For example, musicians could have higher royalties, develop their own market, and protect themselves better from piracy. I hope it has been interesting also for your sector, and I hope that this research opens some new scenario on NFTs. And thank you for your attention and for the opportunity to give my presentation in this session. Can't hear.
That was fantastic. Any questions from the floor?
Oh, thank you. A very thought-provoking presentation about very different areas for potential use of NFTs. One question raised for me is my understanding of almost like NFTs, and the whole idea is creation of almost like limited ownership, and almost like making sure there is a sense of scarcity by it being this like limited thing on the blockchain. Whereas I guess so much of the culture of music is almost wanting as much shared experience. So almost like the idea of limited ownership against, almost like limited ownership seems to be thinking very much from the art world, of just like I own that artwork. Or whereas for music, what's gained by having a sense of limitedness? And I guess though, think about like things like Farmer Bro buying Wu Chang Clang's, and the only person who only owns that piece of music feels very almost antithetical to the culture of music. So just wondering where you think about that.
Yeah, no, there is much to talk about. There are, as I told you, pro and cons. I noticed that in general, musicians are pro NFTs just because it gives them the opportunity to have a direct public, and I think that they are experiencing some difficulties in all the process of achieving result and reputation. Too many intermediaries. I think that this is the main potential. Of course, as in everything, every new technologies, some rules, regulations are needed. And the main problem is, yes, about the concept of sharing, but also about royalties and rights itself. So I think that this is just the scratching the surface. We need to know NFTs better. We need to explore them and be more confident in using them in the right way.
So much for that, and I think just to come back on that question, a friend of mine is running an NFT music platform called Vilvi, VILVI.io, and he's actually linking limited edition vinyls. And there is a huge sort of upsurge in vinyl, so I'm sure John would attest to, but it's very much based on limited edition. So you have the press and it might not go digital. And so it's interesting what you're saying about music needs to be shared to create a culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. So, but they're linking limited edition physical to an NFT.
Yes.
Two are tied together. So it's an interesting, as we talked about in the first day of the symposium, who's going to win? Is it a competition between the two, or can one support the other?
Yeah. Could be a blended approach.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, you said these NFTs are unknown to filmmakers.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because their market is very, let me say, preemptive. Publishers are the real winner in that market. So composers have very little from their compositions. It's a very competitive market. They have so low royalties that they, practically nobody wants to, really use the NFTs, because it means that directors or TV company would not have the ownership of the music, but the author will have it, and so royalties will come to the authors in times. This is not what TV shows or film director wants. The big companies want to own the composition, the music composition. And so I think that especially for them, this is a big opportunity they should explore. Of course, they will face the opposition of this company. Think about all the Netflix or something like them. They will try to make obstacle in this process.
Yes.
So with music, the question is, since music is under copyright and you have royalties every time you want to play it until it's out of copyright, you go back and take something out of copyright and put it into an NFT, is that reimposing restrictions on something that was already out of copyright? But fees on compositions are quite high.
Well, actually, the duration of a royalty and of a property is well defined also on NFTs, because there can be an agreement on the duration of the royalty, as in the real world. NFTs are practically contract, and so they can be set up as they wish, as people wish. So of course, we are at the beginning of the use of this technology, so some rules, some regulation are needed. But at the moment, you just need to agree with the author. Just need to agree on a duration or on royalties and ownership, and that's all. It's like going in the real world to a notary and signing a contract. It's exactly the same thing.
Nick.
All right, thank you very much for that. I think it's an interesting approach to for musicians to start minting their own NFTs. But I was going to say, given that there's currently a significant copyright case against Bored Ape about there's potential infringement of the copyright there by other people sort of seeking to use the imagery and things. To what degree can one successfully defend sort of NFT ownership, and also is it, do you think, practical for musicians to get involved in that sort of debate at the moment? I think there's a lot around the NFT that is yet to be really resolved in terms of ownership and defense of rights.
Yes, I think you're right. There are many, as I told, there is a lot to talk about. At the moment, there is no clarity about many things. Also because the technology is mostly unknown. The blockchain is reliable, but it's also controversial. So for sure, what I can tell is that we need to explore more. We need to see what's going on, and we need some clear regulation. We also need to make all the process of the minting process easier, just to democratize more the process itself. For example, I'm against the auctions. I mean, auctions are good on NFTs sometimes, but it would be better to make the price of an NFT fixed and possible low, maybe with a less limited collection, just to give everyone the opportunity to own an NFTs, like a masterpiece in the real world.
One quick follow-up to that. So you talked about NFT sustainability.
Yeah.
One of my friends, who's not, you know, he has a cybersecurity company. All of his NFTs were stolen on the recent
Yes.
hack.
This is the real problem. This is the real problem. I know that many are working on it. And unfortunately, the computational power we need to mint and to, you know, to use the blockchain is too high. And this is actually the real problem. So we have to, researchers has to do their best to fix this problem. This is a real problem.
Too big a problem to discuss right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
For the session. We'll close now. Tea break. Yeah, go ahead, James.